Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how you can build your own WordPress and Elementor website from scratch. Now what's better, we are going to be using the brand new cloud hosting platform from Elementor, so you don't really need anything else outside of an internet connection and the cloud hosting platform from Elementor. This video is going to be great if you are new to web design or a beginner or looking to get a website set up for yourself or for your business. If you're already a web designer that's been using WordPress and even Elementor, then you're going to get an insight into the cloud platform that they've just recently released. So yeah, you will also find this video useful. Now, from my experience and people that I've spoken to, and including clients, one of the things that people struggle with the most is how they actually get their website set up on a hosting environment. There are so many out there, and it can be very complicated just to buy hosting, get WordPress set up on it, and then everything else that you need to do in order to get your website launched. So there are companies out there that are trying to make this process a lot easier. We have the likes of Wix, we also have Webflow. WordPress now also have their own cloud hosting environment, and now we have Elementor. So I'm really excited to make this video because I haven't spent a lot of time in the Elementor cloud platform myself. So we're going to kind of be on this journey together of exploring the platform in more detail and how we can actually go and build a website from scratch step by step. So although I'm going to try and keep this pretty low level and just make sure that you end up with a product that is great that you can launch online, it's going to be quite a lengthy video because there is quite a few steps that we need to follow. So if you're going to follow this all the way through, then well done. But if you do need to break this up into chunks, then I completely understand that. Just make sure that you come back and pick up from where you left off. Now we're going to jump onto the screen very shortly, but please, before you do, I'd really appreciate it if you can hit that thumbs up button, give this video a like, and also hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I would really appreciate it, so thank you very much. Now, without further ado, let's jump onto the screen and check out Cloud Hosting by Elementor and get your first website built. Let's go. All right, so here we are at Elementor, and we're here on the cloud hosting environment at the moment. So you can see here the complete solution for creating websites, and it's really easy for you to just get started. If you visit in Elementor and you don't know where this page is, just go to Web Creation and then hit Cloud Website, and it will take you to this page here. Now feel free to go and have a look and just see what it's all about. I'm not going to take you through this now, but just to run through the pricing, it's just $99 a year, and that's US dollars. So that's great value for money when you think that the price for the Elementor platform to strap on top of WordPress costs $49 anyway. Then you're only really paying $50 for hosting for the entire year. Now, it is cloud hosting and it's shared hosting space, so speeds aren't amazing, okay? But if you're just getting started and you're a beginner and you just need something quick and easy to put online for yourself or for your business, this is fantastic value for money. So what we do is you just hit buy now and just run through the setup process. Now I'm not going to take you through this, I'm just going to skip through this very quickly and I'll meet you on the other side. Okay, cool. So hopefully now you have the cloud hosting platform from Elementor and you are now on the dashboard. Now, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and keep this video fairly raw. I don't want to cut too much out, so you get like a sort of real first-hand experience as to the typical process that we take, or at least I take when building a website. Now, in all honesty, I don't build an awful lot of websites myself these days, but I have done many in my time. So yeah, you're in for a real treat. So yeah, let's go. So here we are at the Elementor dashboard. Okay, now we can just close this. And you can see here under hosted by Elementor, there are no websites. Okay, so this is the hosted platform. Now I do have an Elementor Pro license as well, so you can see that there's at least 65 websites currently within there. Right, so what we need to do is first hit this create a new cloud website button, and you can see here is our subscription that we have just purchased. So what we want to do is use this subscription, so we're going to hit that button there, and you want to give your website a name. So what should we do? Let's call it I'm just going to call it Tristan's Portfolio. All right, really original. Cool, so you just essentially put the name of your website in there. Let's hit next. Your website domain will be tristansportfolio.elementor.cloud. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so this is just a temporary domain. What you would do later on is you would purchase your domain name and then you would hook that into Elementor Cloud. So when you go to the likes of www.yourbusinessname.com, you would see your cloud website. But for now, it's just giving you a temporary domain just so we can see what this looks like when we build it. All right, so choose a website kit to start with. All right, let's have a look. So there's loads of kits that we can choose here, and we'll go into more detail with this in a minute. But let's just have a look at what's here. There's some really nice templates, as you can see. Now, what should we get started with? Do you know what? For the sake of this video, what I'm going to do. Oh, here we go. We can actually change. So yeah, there we go. All right. So again, this particular environment here is actually quite new to me. So yeah, we are exploring this for the first time. But if you click all types, then you'll see that there are a bunch of website styles, pre-built website templates that you can actually install into your website. So you can have a really professional looking website in minutes. And we'll get into this in more detail in a minute. But what Elementor allows us to do in almost like a real live environment is make changes, make edits to your colors and styles and layouts, and yeah, you have so much freedom and flexibility. This is going to be great. Okay, so let's have a look. Do you know what? I am just going to let's just start from scratch, because I think this isn't given as a real. It's not given as a real taste for what this site will look like. When you get a little bit further into the design and the build of the site, we can actually preview these in more detail and get a real feel for how they would look if we were to use them. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to skip it for now, and we're just going to wait for this to get set up, and then I'll see you on the other side. Okay, cool, guys, we're done. Let's go. Okay, we're just gonna skip all of this. All right, so here is our website. Okay, you can now see that it's under the hosted by Elementor. That wasn't there a minute ago, but it is now there. So from here we have a couple of options. We can open the WP dashboard, which is the WordPress dashboard. We can edit with Elementor, or we can manage this site. Okay, one thing to notice is this site is currently locked. So the lock symbol actually means that it's locked from search engines in particular. Okay, so when you are building and designing and developing your site, you're going to have a lot of unfinished pages. You don't really want that being indexed on Google, and you certainly don't want it being indexed with the URL, the temporary URL that Cloud has given you. So I would keep this site lock on right up until you have decided that your site is finished and you're ready for it to be launched. Okay, but you need to make sure that it's off in order to launch it, and then you can make sure that Google indexes as well. All right, so that is the lock symbol. Okay, so if we want to manage this website, we would just click this cog, and it's going to give us some information about the website. It's going to give us information about domain. So when you're ready to publish your site, this is where you would go. Okay, and this is where we would connect your domain. So you would buy your domain from the likes of 123reg, which is a company that I always recommend you use, and I recommend it to all of my customers. And you would just click here and you would connect my domain, okay? And it will just give you some Cname records and steps to follow. Okay, so we will revisit this later on or in another video. All right, so let's click cancel for now. And here we have the site lock. You can turn this off by hitting off, or hitting the on button, and it will switch off so you can unlock your site. And then the great thing here as well, that you want to take note of the backups. Okay, so it's made a backup already, and it's just going to automatically back up states. And yeah, you would just either restore when you want to, or at least when your website has made a boo-boo, or something's gone wrong, or it's broken, or it's for whatever reason been hacked. Because I've got to be real with you, WordPress is notorious for sort of security threats. WordPress is the most popular content management system on the internet, so it's kind of become an easy target for bots and malicious-ware to, crawl the site and infect it, essentially. So one thing that you can do is, if that ever does happen, or you've ever made a mistake and you need to revert back to a previous version, you would come into your Elementor Cloud area and you would essentially just go down to backups, and you can restore from a backup. Now, these automatically back up every 24 hours, so that's really useful. It takes a backup every single day. Now, you can also export your website. So at the moment, this is all being built on Elementor's cloud server. Okay, so it's being hosted by Elementor. If for whatever reason you wanted to take your website and take it somewhere else, if you wanted to use another hosting provider, then you can actually do so, which is really good, because there is a lot of self-hosted website management systems out there like Wix and Webflow that actually make it quite difficult for you to extract your site and take it elsewhere. So I'm really pleased that Elementor have actually allowed you to do this. So you would just export your site, it will give you the files. It does give you the HTML files and the SQL dump, so the database. It is a little bit more technical, so you'd have to either get a developer or your hosting company that you were moving to help you upload the website. But the great thing is you can actually move it away. And then we've got some debugging and troubleshooting information here as well, which we don't need to worry about that for now. All right, so let's go back to our websites. So here we've got 3 dots as well. So we can visit the website. You can unlock the site from here as well. You can view your related subscriptions, just add to favorites. There's just a couple of options there. Just honestly, I definitely recommend you just have a little play around this environment. Right. Now for the main part of the video, let's actually build our website on the cloud hosting platform. All right, so we're going to open our WP dashboard for now. This is our content management system that the website is being built upon. So the way that it works is you have your Elementor cloud hosting, which is your server. That is where all of your website files are being stored. Then you have WordPress. This is your content management system. This is where you go in, you can edit your pages, your images, content, anything that is content related is built within this WordPress engine. Then you have Elementor. Elementor sits on top of WordPress, okay? So Elementor is your page builder. This is the tool that's going to allow us to actually physically build our website. It's going to allow us to build the header. It's going to allow us to build the body content, anything that sits between the header and the footer, okay? And then it's obviously going to allow us to build the footer as well. So hopefully that makes sense. This is how the system has been created and is all built up and works well together. So we're going to visit WordPress, which is our content management system. Okay, cool. So here we are at the dashboard. Now this dashboard does actually look a little bit different to your typical WordPress dashboard because it is hosted on Elementor. Elementor sort of developed this and added some of their own features. Okay, so we've got an introduction to Elementor. So basically, it can walk you through it step by step, but the purpose of this video is to just show you firsthand how you can actually go about building your website step by step. So it's up to you if you want to watch that in your own time. For now, I am just going to completely dismiss that notification. Now, also the dashboard is kind of your go-to place. It has like real top level information about the website. If you want to amend and change anything that appears on this dashboard, you can hit screen options and you can see, likes of site health status, at glance, activity, etc, etc. But you can see here we've got Elementor quick actions and Elementor news and updates. That is something that does not appear with a standard WordPress installation. So Elementor have added this. So we can see here we have these, we can close them down, you can expand them, you can move them around if you wish. So you have the ability to customize this. But like I say, it's a dashboard. In my experience, I hardly ever look at this dashboard, and I feel pretty confident in saying that there's a lot of customers that don't look at this either. Okay, when you log into your website, what you typically do is you have a purpose and you would just go and fulfill that purpose with that action. So if you wanted to change some content, you would go to the page, change the content. If you wanted to add a blog article, you would just go to blogs or news, add a blog, etc, etc. Do you see what I mean? So from here, there's a couple things within WordPress that I just want to kind of run you through, because if you are visiting WordPress for the first time and you are new to this, there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of. Things like users, how to change your user profile, your password. We can run you through the likes of pages, some of the settings. So let's cover that now. So first thing first, if we go to users, we're going to click all users. All right, so it's given as a random username here. So this is the account that is created for us by default. I actually don't know what the password is, so what you would have to do is you'd have to log in via here. You'd have to click open WP dashboard. Okay, but what you can also do is you can add a new user. Okay, you would give that user a username, you would use their email address, first name, last name, etc., and make sure that there is a secure password. Okay, I definitely recommend using a secure password and using their generate password option here. And now, depending on the role of the user, if it's a team member or if it's like a business partner, perhaps you would want to change the role that you give them. So subscriber is like the lowest level role. They have hardly any other, functionality when they log into WordPress. Administrator is going to have top level. Okay, editor just has the ability to edit content, but it can't edit any of the core CMS or content management system settings. All right, so typically, we add administrators if we're handing it off to our client, or if it's any of our dev team, we want full level of access. But if it's any of your own team and staff members, for example, you'd want to use editor. All right, we're not going to actually add a user here, but this is how you would go about doing it. And then once you've added that user, they would then appear within this user's list. Profile is just going to give you access to your own profile information when you are logged in. So here we have a couple of admin themes. I usually quite like modern, if I'm honest, but actually Elementor has quite a nice color palette here. I quite like this blue and the green. So you can change these to your liking if you want to change the way that the WordPress environment looks. From here, you can see toolbar when viewing the site. So the toolbar is this bar at the top. When you're viewing your site, you have the option to show or hide that toolbar. And then we've got the likes of username. You can change your password, I believe, in here as well. There we go. So under profile, set a new password. You can do that here when you are logged in. Cool. Next, we want to be looking at the settings. So general settings is your site name is here. So if you ever want to change the name of your site, if you have it wrong when setting this up, you can do so here. And then we've got just another Elementor Cloud website. So this is their website's tag name. Tagline. Okay, you want to change this, you don't want to leave it like that because it's just not professional. So we could have something like showcasing some kick-ass work. Okay, like that. Just an example. You can change the administrator email, the default settings, etc., the date format, time format, what week this is all pretty generic. So I'm just going to save that. Under writing, you've got some more options here. We're just going to skip through that. Reading. So we'll come back to this, but essentially if you have a blog on your website or something, you want to create both a homepage. So here we've got a sample homepage. So Elementor Cloud has already given us this, and we will go into this in a minute and show you how to build pages, etc. But also, if you have a blogs page, you would then assign that to your post page. So if you are building a blog, you would come in here and you would say, I want my post page to be blog, for example. Or if you've created a page called news, you would assign that to be your news page. Okay, sounds pretty complicated, but honestly, it's really not that bad. Okay, so that's all taken care of. We want to visit permalinks as well. Now, this has already done it for us, but usually what it would do, if you had a default version of WordPress installed, it would give you its plain settings, okay? Which means that your page names are going to look something like that, which they just look crap. You don't want that. You don't want your site, any of your site pages to be like that. It's not readable for the user. It's certainly not readable for the search engines and Google, for example. When Google are crawling your website, it wants to be able to read your URL. It wants to be able to read your heading and your page content, and it needs to understand what it's all about. If it's just reading P equals 1, 2, 3, for example, that means nothing. So using post name is really a good way to go. You can also use a custom structure, and you could, for example, use category and then post name if you wanted to. I like working with either of these, so it's totally up to you. I'll keep it at this for now, and we're going to hit save. All right, then we've got privacy. Okay, so privacy policies, especially here in the UK with GDPR, it's become very easy for us to create a privacy policy page. So we can actually just hit this button, hit create. It's going to create a page for us here, and it's going to automatically put in like our URL. It's pretty useful. I definitely read through this and just make sure that the information is correct. But what we can do is, when we're ready, is just hit publish. Like so. That page is now published. Right, so you can see how easy that was. Now, just quickly, this is the environment in which you edit content, and the more that we go through this process, the more familiar that you will be with this. But for now, what we're going to do is we have saved this. We're just going to go back to settings, and we're going to go back to privacy. Okay, now you can see here, change your privacy policy page. It's automatically selected the privacy policy. All right, and we are using that page. So that's our privacy policy done. Really, really nice and simple. All right, moving on, we are going to have a look at pages. Okay, so the pages are like the lifeblood of a website. Every website has multiple pages, or I say multiple, some websites have one page, but typically a website will have multiple pages, such as homepage, about page, portfolio maybe, meet the team, contact us. it's up to you. The types of, or the amount of pages that you can have on your website are honestly endless. So from here, it gives you a rundown of the pages that are available. We've got sample homepage at the moment, and that is assigned to our front page. So when someone visits our domain name, the front page is the very first page that they're going to visit. Now that is the home page. Okay, Elementor Cloud has already assigned that for us, and if you remember under settings and reading, we can also assign it in there as well. Now this is sample homepage. I don't want it to be called sample homepage, so what we can do is we can click edit. We are given this very simple page editor via WordPress, and we can literally change our name here. We can just delete that. So we want to just call it homepage. Okay. Now what we then do is click update, and that's that. That is so simple. Now if we come back to pages, you'll see that that has been renamed. Now let's add a couple more pages. Now in order to add a page, it's really simple. Click add new. And let's give this one about. Let's go about us. Oh, can't type. And you can write content in here, but because we are building this in Elementor, we're using a page builder that actually allows us to add content, type inside boxes, and yeah, basically build out our site without even needing to use this environment. Okay, so you will see how this is done in a minute, but for now, all we need to do is create pages and give them page names, which we are doing. So let's hit publish here. And let's go back to pages. I'm just going to hit add new pages here. Like I say, let's go with, let's go with contact for now. Publish. Right, so cool. So if we go to all pages now, you can see that we have a home page, contact, and about us. Okay, so we have our pages. Well, we will probably come back in and add a couple more pages, but for now, that gives you a pretty good idea of how to add pages. Now next we are going to appearance, and now what we want to do here is go to themes. Okay, now themes are really important. With WordPress being your content management system, every single WordPress installation needs to run with a theme. Now the theme is actually the visual representation of your website. So when you visit a website and it's hosted on WordPress, everything that you see on the site is developed from a theme. Okay, so it kind of gives us that starting point that we need in order to build up on it. Now, as standard, Elementor installs this for you because it's the theme that they recommend. It works very well with the Elementor page builder. And this is what I typically recommend you use as well. But by all means, you're free to choose another theme if you want. It just means that your website might look a little bit strange. There might be some limitations and things like that when you are building your Elementor site. Cool, so here we have a theme called 2021, which is the default WordPress theme. If you are loading WordPress as a sort of standard installation onto your own custom website hosting platform, then you're likely going to see this theme, and you'd have to come in, and what you'd have to do is search for themes. So we can add new themes here. You can hit that button and we have a bunch of themes that we can install. So Astra is another one that works really well with Elementor. We've got, there's just Cadence, again, that's another one. There's loads in there. If you look at the popular ones, you'll get a feel for which ones are quite heavily used. So chances are they are going to work with Elementor out of the gate. Okay, but for this instance, we've got Hello Elementor installed. We are using that theme. So there you go, that's an overview of themes. Now let's go to plugins. Now plugins are what I like to call, imagine you have your mobile phone. You have your phone, it has its basic functionality, you can call and text people. But then you can go to the App Store and extend that functionality. You can install social media icons, you can install games, whatever it might be. Now, what I want you to do is think of plugins like apps. Okay, you can extend the functionality of your WordPress website. So if, for example, we wanted to add some additional security, if we wanted some search engine optimization functionality, if we wanted some sort of like caching, if we wanted our site to perform faster, this is where we would go. Okay, now with the Elementor Cloud platform, there are limitations. Okay, there are a bunch of plugins that Elementor just don't allow you to install, and that's because it's trying to reduce the risk of your site breaking. Now, The great thing with plugins is it extends the functionality of your site. The downside to plugins is some of them can conflict. So if you are plowing a lot of plugins into your website, some of them can conflict. You can have website errors, your site can crash, it can come offline. There can be a lot of disasters. It's kind of one of the pitfalls of WordPress. It's like the blessing and a curse type thing. So there are some plugins that you cannot install with Elementor. So what you'd want to do, depending on the plugin that you want, to add a new one, you would just click Add New. Okay, it will give us a list of featured plugins that WordPress recommends, give us a list of popular plugins. So by hitting popular, you'll get a real feel for the common ones that are being used. So Contact Form 7 is an extension to the contact form functionality on WordPress. Elementor actually have their own contact form functionality, so we wouldn't actually typically worry about that when using Elementor, especially using Elementor Cloud. If you want SEO options, you would install Yoast. Definitely recommend that plugin. We've got Woocommerce. Now, my understanding is Woocommerce is not fully functional with Cloud. That was my last understanding, so don't quote me on that. You'd have to go and do your research. Maybe we'll produce another video in the future using WooCommerce and how you can actually build an e-commerce website with cloud hosting. What else we got? So Jetpack Incompatible. So this plugin here is not compatible with Elementor Cloud. Okay. Now, if you want, you can learn more, and essentially it just gives you a list of all of the plugins that they don't function with Elementor Cloud. You can see this. Based on how many plugins there are, the list isn't huge, but there's some relatively popular ones on there that just don't work. But it's, as I say, it's for a good reason. It's for a good reason why you cannot install all of the plugins within Elementor or the Elementor Cloud hosting. So yeah, there's an overview of plugins. Essentially what you need to do is just go and have a look. Depending on the functionality that you want to add on your site, you can install a plugin for it. But just be aware that the more plugins that you have on your site, there is a risk of things being conflicting. So yeah, just install the ones that you essentially need. Okay. The great thing with Elementor is it has a ton of functionality out of the box, which means you don't really need to rely on any other plugins. Okay. Right, now let's keep going. So here we've got appearance. We've gone through plugins, we've gone through themes, we've gone through pages, we've gone through users. Here we've got media, so any images and stuff that you want to add to your website, you would just load into the media gallery. Okay. You can also, when building your site, you have other opportunities to add images, so you don't technically need to come here, but any images that you do add to your site is going to be found here. Also, next we want to look at pages again. So the lifeblood of a website is its pages. Okay, that's how the website is built up. Okay, now every time you visit a website, you have a navigation. Okay, so you can then assign each of these pages to a navigation. And now before we actually do that, let's just have a look at how this site is looking. So up in the top corner, you can click Visit Site. So we're just going to open that into a new tab. Okay, you can see how this is looking. All right, so it actually looks terrible right now. And that's because we decide, I do apologize about the dogs barking. Okay, so remember when we were getting set up, we opted to use a blank canvas. We didn't want to install a theme or a template kit at that point. This is how it looks. Okay, if you did opt to use a template kit, you're going to get a very different experience of what we're getting right now. But that's fine, because the site isn't going to look like this when we've finished. Okay, it's nice to actually start from a blank canvas and give you an idea of how things look when you get started. Right, it looks overwhelming. This looks terrible, and it looks like you've got a lot of work to do. But trust me, it's not going to be that bad. It's going to be great. All right, so from here we've got our site title, we've got our secondary site tag. Here we typically would have a navigation, but there isn't one, so we're going to add one. So here is where you would say you would allow people to click the home page, the about page, contact page, or any other page on your site that you want to include in the navigation. All right, so we are going to go back to here. All right, so we're back at our dashboard. Now, from your website, if you want to get back to your dashboard, you can just click, hover over here and just click dashboard. But I'm just going to keep it in another tab. So under appearance, we're going to go to menus. Cool, and this is our menu environment. So we need to give our main menu a name, okay? And I'm just gonna call it main menu. All right, really nice and simple. Cool, and then from here we wanna view all. So we have our home page. We're not gonna add our privacy policy page. It doesn't need to be up in our main navigation. That would typically live down in a footer. We can click About Us and we can click Contact, and we're just gonna add that to menu. All right, there we go. Really nice and simple, okay? Now from here, don't worry about anything else. We're just gonna click Save Menu. Cool, now let's go see our site. Let's see if anything has appeared. Refresh, no, nothing. All right, that's fine. Cool, all right, so from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start building our website. We're going to change how this looks, okay? Now remember, we're using Elementor Cloud. Elementor is our page builder, and that's what we're going to be using to build our entire visual representation of the website. We're going to build our header, we're going to build our body content, we're going to build our footer. All right. Now with Elementor Pro, it allows you to do all of this. With the standard free version of Elementor, you can't build a header, you can't build a footer. There's limited options in terms of the functionality that Elementor gives you with its free version. The Pro version is honestly, it's so good for people like yourselves or beginners that are looking to just be able to build a website without touching code. Like, that's the key thing here, is building a website without touching code. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we'd have to build websites using PHP as a programming language, and we'd have to spend hours coding, building our own templates, taking them from design into code, building them, testing them, making them responsive. And it took hours. Now we can build a website in a matter of an hour, maybe. Who knows how long this video is going to be right now. So cool. From here, let's just get started with the header. Okay, now let's go to templates. So we are going to be building a Elementor template for our website. And here we want to go to then theme builder. Cool, and you can see that we have a ton of options here that allow us to build up a website template. So we've got header, we've got footer, we've got a single post if it's a blog article. You know, single post is a single article within a list. Then we've got single page. Then we've got archive. So if you wanted to list out all of your blog articles, for example, you would use an archive page. And you've got search results, which is very much like an archives page. If someone was going to search on your website, it would just give you a list of results. And then you've got an arrow 404 page, which if someone tries to visit a page on your website that doesn't exist, they're going to be automatically directed to the 404 page, which basically would just allow them to go back to the home page. Okay, so let's start off with a header. Cool. We're using Elementor Pro, so we have a couple of options here to use some blocks. Okay, some building blocks. All right, or we can use pages, like, you know, for example, we wouldn't in this instance use a page within a header. I'm not sure why it gives you that option, but it is what it is. So I'd ignore pages, and you can have a look at templates as well. So what you can do is once you've built, for example, the header, you can save that as a template, and then it would appear in your own custom templates. Or we can go to blocks, okay? This is gonna give us some pre-built headers out of the gate. Now I'm just going to click on this X and just show you how you could potentially go about building your own header. Now over on the left hand side, this is all of the Elementor widgets that are available. Now widgets are components that Elementor allow us to just, you know, simply click and drag onto our canvas, and it then appears on the site. So this isn't clear, this is our site logo. We're just going to delete that. So we can delete it by right clicking and clicking delete. I probably didn't use the best example there. So site title, let's just drag that in, okay? And you can see here we've got Tristan's portfolio, that is the name of our site. Okay, once we have that in, we have a couple of options here. We can change the HTML tag, so typically you might want it to be the H1. From being, you know, an SEO agency, we actually don't assign this as anything really. We don't, it's a brand name, we don't actually assign it as anything apart from maybe a span or a div, okay? So we change that to a span. The style has changed, but that's fine. The way that you can edit the style is in here. You can change the color, you can change the typography. So typography is the font. So at the moment it's a font family called Roboto. If you wanted to change that, you can do so here. It's really quite simple. Now it does have its primary typography here, and also the text color is primary as well. Now, depending on the brand colors of your website, you can change these options. Okay, so if we want to change these options, what we would do is we'd click these three icons here and we go to site settings. I know this part is great because this builds up a bunch of global settings that are recycled and used around your site, kind of as default. And they're very easy to reference as well. As you just saw, we could just click on a drop down and we could choose which color we wanted rather than you having to manually assign a color every single time. The same thing with the font. If we can define a bunch of font families and typography options, we can always just quickly reference them. So what you do here is just go to global colors and you can change your primary color like so. Let's go with something like that. Secondary color, maybe we want it a bit darker. Text color, maybe we want it like, I don't know, that. And then an accent color. So an accent color is like a secondary color that's used to stand out. All right, so it might be that you want this to be something like this accent color because it's quite vibrant, but we could just, in this instance, choose red. Right. It's up to you. Then we click back. Global fonts, so we've got primary, we can choose your primary font here, and then you've got secondary, we can choose our text font. You can choose your size, so you can have the likes of 18 pixels. We could then change the weight, so if you wanted it quite slightly thicker, etc, etc. So a bunch of options there. Now I do recommend you go and have a play. That I do have a couple of other videos on the channel which kind of talk a little bit more about Elementor and changing settings and how, examples of other pages being built. So you could go and have a look at those if you want to get more familiar with it. From here we go back, go to typography. So we've got our body text, we can assign a link text, we can assign a heading 1 text, like the color, the size, the font. There's a lot of options here, so do take the time to just go through and become familiar with this and play around with it. Cool, so once we're done, we'll just hit update, or once you're done assigning your settings, click update, and then go back to editor. Cool, and we're back here in our header. Okay, so there are a lot of widgets here. If you want to add, for example, an inner section, okay, we drag that in. What that's going to do is going to allow us to create a section that's now split down the middle. So we've got two sections here that we can drag elements into. So we've got two columns. If you wanted to add another column, you can right click and we can click add new column. And we've now got 3 columns. Okay, we can then add a 4th column, etc, etc. If we want to remove them, we can right click and we can hit, where is it, delete. We can right click the column box and hit delete. Okay, now I'm just going to move this navigator out of the way. Now, this navigator is really useful because when you start building your website up, it's going to show you how everything is structured in layers essentially. Everything is layered. It kind of works off a box model. You have your sort of main section, then you might have an inner section, then you might have your widget or your component inside, and you might have multiple widgets. You might have a title, you might have text, you might have a button. Okay, and it just starts building things up and it allows you to quickly see how it's structured and reference things if you wish. Cool, so let's just have a look at how we, let's just, we can put heading in here. It's going to give us our main color. Now we can put this is a heading. Pretty boring, but it gives you an idea. You can link to that if you want. If you wanted to link to, I don't know, like let's say you wanted that to link to contact, you can type in your page name. It's going to come up, and you'd hit that, and then this is now a link. Okay, if you want to remove that, just delete it, and then the link is removed. We can change the HTML tag, so if you wanted that to be a main heading, you can assign it to H1. If you want it to be a lower level heading, so it has less weighting, and by weighting I mean both size, thickness, and in terms of authority. Okay, so H1 is the most authoritative tag on the page, H6 is the lowest authority tag on the page. Cool. So that runs through headings. Now, again, you can hit the style tab and you have the option to change the style. Now you can see here that our color options have changed because we just changed those in the main global site settings. Typography has remained because we didn't change those, but if you did want to change them at this level, you just hit the pencil. We can change the heading. Let's go with that one. What is that? Road rage. I've not seen that before. We can change the size like so. We can change the line height, letter spacing. So if you want to add spacing between the letters, you can do. Okay, so there's a lot of options here. Now, I definitely recommend if you are going down the custom route, you do familiarize yourself with web design best practices, because you have a bunch of options here and you can just make a mess. Okay, remember, your website is your shop front. It's supposed to give a good impression. Okay, so make sure that if you are going down the custom route, that you do have a pretty good understanding of what you're doing. But don't worry, we are still yet to get into the main part of this tutorial, showing you how to actually build a very nice looking website using the resources and the templates that are available from Elementor. Cool, so we have a heading option there. Now, if you want to add more widgets to this individual column, we can do so by clicking this 9-grid icon. We're just going to click text and drag that in. Oh, so you'll notice it's kind of dragged it outside, and this is where the navigator becomes useful as well, because our text, our heading is inside this column, but our text is inside this inner section, so it's kind of spilling out. Now we can either click this pencil and drag it in so it sits underneath, and you'll see that it moves, or if we just, I'm going to press Command Z, it's going to undo. If you're on a PC, you press Control Z. Okay, it's going to put it back. You could technically click in the navigator and drag it underneath there, and it will do the same thing. All right. So yeah, there we go. That's that. And if you wanted to add, let's say, a button, we can click and we can add it there like so. Now you can change the name of your button, excuse me, to Learn More, for example, and then you would link to wherever you want that button to go, whether it's a page or an external URL. It's totally up to you. Cool. You can align the button. You can have it in the middle. You can have it, etc., etc. There's so many options here. Like, Elementor is amazing. Like, there's so many options. Cool. So you'll see here that we have some spacing on the left side compared to the right side. What we do, I don't know why it does this, but it tries to make space for an icon, but there is no icon. So we can either add an icon to our button. So if we just search like right, we could add like a hand or a right arrow or something, and it's going to put it in there like that. Okay, but when it's removed, there's still quite a bit of a space there. So you need to assign that to 0. Okay, and then it gets rid of that space and you have equal spacing either side. I don't know why it does it, guys. It just does. If anyone does know why it does it, please do let me know down in the comments. I'd appreciate it. All right, from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to hit publish. And then from this environment, because we're building a header, we need to assign where we want this individual template to be displayed. Okay, it's our header. We actually, in this instance, want it to be displayed around the entire site. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit save and close. Okay, cool. So that is our header saved. Now this looks terrible. This has just been an overview of Elementor's widgets, but I wanted to just show you that while we're in the header template and we've made these changes, we're going to go back to our website and we're actually going to refresh this page. And there you go. You can see everything that we've just created. It's being spat out on a page, and that's because it's a header and we've assigned that to every page on our website. All right, so now let's get real. Let's actually build a header that looks like a header. Okay, let's actually get into the main part of this this tutorial. Cool. So we don't want any of this, so we can delete it. We've got options here to click the cross. It's going to delete it. We can delete this section. We can delete this. We can delete this, and we're just left with a blank canvas. All right. Now from here, what we want to do is we can add a main pre-built header using Elementor templates, or their theme kit is what it's called. So we're going to click that, and we've got blocks. Okay, these are our blocks. These are the website blocks that we have available to us. Okay, and there's a few here. Some of them are simple. Some of them look fancier than others. Now I'm just going to keep this real simple. Let's have a look at this. All right, that's pretty interesting. Let's just go with that. So we're just going to insert this one. Cool. And then we've got you can see our main navigation pages is now displaying at the top, which is perfect. This is now looking like a website header. Your typical conventional website header is here on screen. Here we have a logo, so it's an image. All right, so if you want to upload a new site logo, you would just delete this, you would click choose image, you would upload your logo to the library or the gallery. Okay. Now in this instance, I don't actually have one, so God, it's noisy outside. So in this instance, I don't have one, so we are just going to use where is it? The site title. Okay, we're just going to pull that in, and we're going to delete the logo. So currently still saying Tristan's portfolio. We're going to change how this looks. Okay, we're going to go to style. We're going to change the color, change it to secondary. And we want to change the typography as well. Now, do you know what? I'm going to go back to Road Rage. I thought that was pretty interesting. But I mean, it actually, probably to be fair, it doesn't work too well with the style of this. Let's just keep it as that for now. And I want to hit update. Cool. Right, now if we refresh this, this is how our website's looking. Let's refresh it. And there you go. We now have a header that actually looks like a header. Now, this is our navigation. If we click on that, you'll see we have the Nav Menu widget that's already is pre-built, it's there. And now if we want to change the menu, we do so here. We only have one menu at the moment, but if you created multiple, you would go here and you change that menu. You can change the, where it's positioned, whether it's aligned over to the right, the left, the center. Let's just keep it in the center. It's done for us, guys, but ultimately you can make changes if you wish. You have the option. It gives you a template, you install it onto your website, you change it, you make it unique to you. You have that freedom and that flexibility. Social icons, so if you want to add the likes of a link to Facebook, you click on these icons, and again the widget information over on the left has changed. Okay, so we can click inside here. You can change the icon if you want. You can change the link, so you would just paste your Facebook URL in there and your Twitter URL and YouTube URL. If, for example, you wanted to change this to Instagram, you would just search Instagram, insert, boom, change the logo. Okay, if you wanted to add some more, we can add a new item. We can click in here, we can search LinkedIn. All right, there you go. It's that, honestly, that simple, guys. Sweet, so let's update that. Cool, now the next thing is, how does this look on a mobile? All right, now we're gonna be jumping into responsive design right away, because the way that I like to build things, especially when you're using Elementor and its theme building functionality, where you're separating the header, the page content, and the footer, you have to make everything responsive so it works on mobile anyway, so I like to do it while I'm building that element. Okay, so from here, this is how it's looking on desktop. Okay, we can see that because we can see it here as well. This is our desktop screen. But how does this look on a mobile or a tablet device? Now, Elementor has the great functionality to allow you to check how things are looking on other devices. And it's the responsive design option. It's down here. So we can click responsive mode. And then from here, you'll see that we have the option of desktop, tablet, and mobile. Currently, we're viewing in tablet. If we want to view what it's like in we're viewing in desktop. If you want to view what it's like in tablet, hit tablet. Okay, and you can see that things have started to collapse. Things have become smaller. Our navigation has dropped to what's called a hamburger navigation, because typically you'll have more than 3 navigation items to start with. It's just not going to fit in that space. So you reduce it to a hamburger icon, which in terms of mobile design convention, tablet designs, that's not an unusual thing. You would have browsed the internet so many times now from your phone, and you would have seen a hamburger icon. So it's a pretty familiar way of doing things. So from here, you can click on it. There we go. You can change the alignment. So it's under the mobile drop down section. So you can put that in the middle if you want. I'm just going to put it back where it was. And yeah, if we click that, you'll see how things are looking when they drop down. All right, so again, all styled for us quite nicely. And then if we drop down to mobile, it's dropped down again. Okay, so really nice and condensed. From here, if you wanted to, you can change the size of your logo. If it's text or if it's an image, we can come in here. And now whatever style changes we make while in mobile, okay, this is the key point here, while you make style changes in mobile, it will only make those changes on mobile. All right, so if we change the font size here to 26, okay, that's how it looks on mobile. If we go back up to tablet, you'll see that it's increased in size. If we go to desktop, it's increased in size again. Okay, so we build our website in desktop. That, Elementor seems to take a desktop first approach, which is fine, and that's personally what I'm familiar with. You would design your website in desktop form, and then the styles, they cascade down. Okay, they trickle down to both tablet and mobile. But if you make any changes on either tablet or mobile, it will not affect desktop. Okay, if you make a style in tablet mode, if you make a style change, in tablet mode, it will not affect desktop. If you make a style here and then you make a style change in mobile, it will not affect the tablet styles. Again, the tablet styles will not affect the desktop styles. Okay, but if you have not assigned styling to both tablet or mobile and only desktop, it's going to apply desktop to all three of them, okay, unless you specify otherwise. So the styles cascade down. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool, so we have our header. From here, we're just going to click update. That is our header done. Guys, you can see how quick that was. Okay, cool, so that's the header done. Now what we want to do is we want to do the footer. So what we're going to do is we're going to head back, exit to the WordPress dashboard. Cool, and then go back to templates. We want to hit theme builder again. Now this time, okay, well the first thing you probably noticed is all the other parts have disappeared that were there earlier, and that's because we now have started building our components. It's only going to show us our active ones. So what we're going to do is hit this add new button. Here we all are, there, that's what we saw last time. So then we're going to hit footer, okay, and we're actually going to use this same block again. Now, to be honest, I don't know which one I used. I have no idea which header I used. Let me just check this. So I wonder if that has a corresponding footer. You know what? At this point, I can't tell. What's that? No, we're not using that. Let's go back to library. What's that? That's definitely not the same one. Maybe it's that. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to go with this. So let's insert this one. Cool, so that is our footer. All right, now you have an option here. You can keep this if you want. It's a nice call to action, which is great to have on a website. All you'd need to do is change the content if you wanted to. So let's take care of you. Get in touch with our team, for example, and you can book an appointment. And you can change this image. Okay, now to change this image, it's not actually an image block, but the image has been assigned to this container here. So we click these columns and go to style. You'll see the image there. So you can change this image if you want to. You go to a stock library, so something like Unsplash. We could search Office. Office will do. Let's just download that. Can we change the size? Cool, I'm just going to download a medium one. Cool. From there, we could literally click on this image and we can replace it. Cool. All right, so from here, give every image an alt tag, just giving it a small description of what it is. So our team in the office. Okay, the reason why you need to give it an alt tag is so when search engines call your site, it knows what the image is in reference to, okay? It's really good practice to make sure that you do it. Cool, and that's that added, really nice and simple. Flare, hair and beauty, so we actually don't want that, we're just going to delete that. Now you can click in all of this, change your information, working hours, quick links, so it's got your navigation in there as well. Newsletter. So this is going to be a form widget. So we haven't seen this yet. So from here, you just have a email field. It's a newsletter form. Actions after submit. So at the moment, it's just going to email in. But from here, if you are using the likes of MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, where you're collecting email addresses, you can go to actions after submit. And what we want to do is for example, click MailChimp. You have ActiveCampaign, you have GetResponse, you've got ConvertKit. So, whatever tool that you use, you need to make sure you click that action. And then when you've clicked it, you'll see an extra settings box here. So if we click MailChimp, for example, you would then need to go to integration settings, which you can click here and it will take you there. So let's just open up a new tab. And you would then need to scroll down to MailChimp, and you need to add your MailChimp API key, or if it's Drip or ActiveCampaign or GetResponse, anything, whatever tool you're using, you put the API key in here. Once you've validated that, you would then have the option to choose your mailing list. It will automatically hook it up. It's really clever. And then every time someone subscribes to your newsletter, it's going to add their email address to your mailing list. So really, really useful tool there. Cool. So for now, let's just click. Let's not click publish yet. Here, we want to change that. So we've got current date and time. So we've got custom date format is just Y, so it's got 2022, and then under advanced, we've then got the stuff appearing before the 2022. So we would just put something like Tristan's portfolio. You would just put your business name, okay? Your business name goes there, Tristan's portfolio 2022. After, you could have something like all rights reserved for the copyright, okay? And then hit publish. Let's go. So again, we're given an option here to where we want this template that we're building to display, okay? We want this to appear site-wide. So add a condition. It knows it's a footer, did exactly the same thing with the header. And what it's going to do is going to say that we can assign it to every single page. There might be some scenarios where you want a different footer. You could then, only include this on a singular page, and you could say, I want it on all post page, so all blog pages. You could assign it to a specific page, all right? You could assign it to a landing page. You've got options, but for now, we're just going to add it to the entire site, okay? Now, one thing I didn't mention was this part here. So this is actually a link. So this is booking an appointment. It's what we call a call to action. That would probably link to your contact page. So we're going to click contact, like so. Update. Okay, that's now going to link us through to the contact page. Cool. So now that is up to date and we've assigned that to the entire site. We're going to come back to our website. Let me just close that and close that. And we're going to refresh. Ooh. There we go. So that was weird, it didn't appear. So there we go. Okay, we've got the image, we've changed that, we've changed our text, we've got our footer information. You might want to add your logo back in there, it's totally up to you, but for this demo purpose, I'm just going to leave it for now. So I'm not sure if those two are matching in color. I'm still unsure whether this header matches this, but for now, it doesn't matter. We can come back to this at any point. Cool. All right, so now let's have a look at the homepage. So what we're going to do is we're going to head back here. We're going to go back to our dashboard. Cool. And now we're going to go back to pages. Okay. We've built our templates. So templates are things that are reusable. They're recyclable. Okay. Our header is recyclable. Our footer is recyclable because we want it to appear on every page. For now, we only want to edit the home page. Okay, so we don't build that into a template. Okay, we actually build that into the page itself. So we go to pages, we want to go to home page, and we want to click edit with Elementor. Okay, we can get to it via here, or if we click edit, you can see that we have a button here. Okay, either one is going to take you to the same place. Cool, so this is our home page. So you can see here, we have our home page, page name appearing. We don't want that, you want to remove it. And the way that we do that is head down to the cog down in the corner. And what we want to do is hide title. Okay, let's turn that on and it's going to remove our title. We don't want that displaying on this page. Cool, so that's that done. Now let's hit widgets again. You'll see all your widgets. But what we want to do is, again, we want to take advantage of Elementor's theme kit to construct the homepage here really, really quickly. Now, by all means, you can go down the route of building this yourself, but if you really do not have any web design experience, I recommend you taking advantage of Elementor's theme kits. Cool. All right, let's go folder. So here we've got pages. All right, so we've got a restaurant, law firm, services page, photographer. So it's, yeah, there's just, guys, just scroll through this list. There are a lot of options in here. So yeah, they're all pro versions. Cool, I'm just deciding which one we want to go with. So we took the footer for the hairdressing. I can't yet see any hairdressing. Oh, there we go. This looks like the hairdressing website that we say. So that's the home page. Cool. I quite like this. I'm actually going to insert this. Right, so when you insert a theme kit, basically what it's saying is, do you want to apply the settings of this page too? Okay, so the settings in this template have been assigned specifically to work with this template. Now, you might have settings on your site, like for example, we just removed the header title, okay, on the website or on the home page. But if we say yes to this, it's going to override that. Okay, so actually, if you're using and relying on template kits, I definitely recommend that you click apply. Okay, because it means that you're going to get the theme the way that it's supposed to work. Right, and if you're a beginner, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. All right, here we go. So look at this. It looks ace. I really like the look of this. So you can see now that we have a home page available to us, like so. So I'm just going to click update. Let's just see how this looks. Okay, now let's have a look at how our website's looking. Great. Look at this. We now have a website. We've very quickly installed a template onto our home page. And you'll see that we've got all these animations as well. And I can show you quickly in a second how this takes place. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. It looks great. So if you are a business looking to create some sort of beauty website, bam, you've got one pretty much out of the box here. But if you are not, which I'm sure most of you are not, you're going to want to make changes to this. So let's just have a look at how we go about doing this. I'm not going to change it too much because we haven't got time, but we're going to return back to our Elementor theme, and yeah, we can click inside here and we can change the image. So let's go with something like that's cool. Right, so let's click inside there. Let's just download a medium version of that. Now, key point, make sure that you are not loading super high resolution images to the website, because WordPress doesn't always condense it or compress it, and it can bloat your site, which means it works a lot slower. So that's why I'm downloading the medium version here. So remember, hover over here, hover over the image you want to change. Because it's a background image, we want to click the 2-column icon, go to style, and we can change the image here like so. And you'll see that we've got additional images in our Media Library now because we've imported this template. It's pulled in all the images as well. So mountains at night, again, alt tag. Cool. Right, so a couple of key things here. You'll see, you know what, I'm sorry guys, I'm just going to delete the navigation for now. If you want to bring it back, you right click and just hit navigator and it comes back, but I just want to remove it. Cool, so look amazing and feel as fab as ever. So we can change that to something like websites that will blow your mind. Okay, that's a bold statement, but yeah, feel like a superstar every day. Make your business look like a superstar. That kind of makes sense. Right, so that is now running on all one line. You'll see that it had like a breakpoint in there, for example. Well, I'm just going to let it run on all one line. And then we've got a piece of text, and I think it says flare. I'm just going to put wow. Just go wow. Now, if we want to change this, the color of this, we can. You just click on this option here. So these 6 dots will cover the entire section. Okay. We're going to click these 6 dots. Now it might not be here, so you have to do a little bit of checking when you are working with these templates. But these 6 dots, go to style, and you'll see that there's a background option, and there's nothing assigned to this. So what we want to do is look at this individual column, and then go to style, And still there's no background assigned to it, which, well, that's weird. Let me check that one again. Where is that color being assigned? I don't know where that's being assigned, but anyway, you can click on the grid, go to background, assign a background, and you can change the color if you wish. Okay, we could have that. You can have it as white if you like. Yeah, just keep it as white. Keep that soft. Yeah, brilliant. So that's that section. Now, if we scroll down, we have another section and container that we can work with. And click inside there, and we have some text that we can edit. So welcome to our site. Take a look around. Cool. Right, and then we've got about it. So guys, I'm not going to go into too much detail as to how you edit it. I've shown you how to edit this one, and the process is exactly the same. So you would just go in, change your image, change the text. You just click inside each text element and you can change it like so. Okay, we've got a link here. You know how to change a link already. Now this part is the interesting part, because you can see that it's animating on scroll, which is really nice. So if we click this element, we click the pencil, you can change the text. So we could, let's say, websites, for example. But under the advanced tab, now we haven't visited the advanced tab yet, but underneath here, we're going to go to motion effects. Okay, and you can see that this has an assigned scrolling effect. Now it has a horizontal scroll, which means that it's going to animate and it's going to move position when we're scrolling down the page. So when we're scrolling, you can see that it's moving in. It's moving into the screen, and it's kind of masked behind this container. So really, really nice touch. You can click inside this pencil. You can change the speed, like maybe we want it to be a bit faster, like so. Yeah, you just amend the speed here, but any motion effects that you want to apply to an individual element, you can do so. If you want to apply it to a container, you can go to advanced, you can go to motion effects. You can apply either a scrolling effect, you can apply like an entry animation. So yeah, maybe we want it to fade in, like so. So if I just update this and show you what that would do, I'm going to update, we're going to go back to the website, we're going to refresh the page. Okay, you can see already we're making changes here. Welcome to the website, take a look around. Weirdly didn't fade in. Let me try that again. Did you see that? Did you catch that? Let me just refresh here. There you go, things are fading in. We've got the image and the text are fading in, okay? So by all means, go and have a play, have a look at the animations. I wouldn't recommend sticking animations on everything, because there's a fine line between your website looking professional, stunning, elegant, beautiful, and just looking like a circus, all right? You don't want things popping out, coming in, etc., etc., because it will just be distracting and look terrible, and that's not what you're going for here. So, I mean, I do recommend that you maybe just don't mess around with them too much if you're a beginner, but as you can see, the option is there. Cool, so I'm going to leave this as it is. I know it's a bit of a mishmash. We've got, you know, the sort of website style messaging that they've been bringing in, and the images. But for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go into too much detail of changing everything. But as you can see, we have at the moment a pretty cool looking website. All right, so great. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's go and build some other pages now. Cool, so we're going to go to the hamburger menu and dashboard. We need to go back to pages, because now we're going to work on our about page. All right, so from here we want to click edit. Now you'll notice there's no option here to edit in Elementor. So for now, we're going to click edit. And now what we can do is we can either add content, which I don't recommend you do because you're not going to be able to see it clearly. It's not going to be in the style and the theme that we're building for our website. So we're going to hit edit with Elementor. And I'm happy to leave, yeah. Cool, now we've got our About Us. So we can go straight in, click this one, and what was that called? No, sorry guys, let's just see what that salon template, beauty salon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search beauty salon. All right, now we've got all of the beauty salon pages that are available to us. Do we have an about page? About us, brilliant. So we're just gonna insert that. Excellent, so our site title is still here, interestingly. So we're gonna go down to our cog and we're gonna remove that. So our salon, depending on what your business or what website you're making here, we can just put like our agency, like if it was a web design agency, that's typically what I'd put. And we've got a little bit of information about the business. You'd obviously change that. You can change this image. So this is a different style of image because this is using the image widget. Right, now previously it was just using an image in the background of the container. Now it's actually relying on the image widget. So when we click the image, it's going to appear over here on the left. Again, click inside, change that image if you wish. So you can put empowering brands, bring in their full potential to life. Cool. So I was just saying flare hair. Guys, as I said, change this. But you can see there's loads of information here. If there's any element that you don't need, like just delete it. You don't need it, so just delete it. And then it goes into the footer. So let's just click update. Now again, the great thing with all of these themes and these template kits is they are all already responsive. So they collapse quite nicely on a mobile phone. So you don't need to worry too much about responsiveness if you're not making an awful lot of changes. But if you are making some real solid changes here, as I recommend you do, especially if you want your site to stand out and be unique, you don't want to heavily rely on the template too much. But it's up to you, it's your call. But definitely check out the responsiveness of each page once you've changed your content. But because we're not changing an awful lot at the moment in this demo, there's not a lot to change. You can see that it looks great. Cool. From here, update, and we're going to go back to the website and we're just going to click refresh. Cool. So this is our home page. You can see that our home page is active. Let's click about, and now that about page that we've just created is now here, and it looks bloody cool. It looks so nice. Excellent. Right. Sweet. Right, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to come back out and we are going to go back to dashboard. We're going to go back to pages. We're going to go to contact. We're going to go to edit with Elementor. Great. We're going to remove that site title right away. And now let's go back to the template kit. Okay. Now here it was beauty salon. Cool. Where's the there we go. Contact page already exists. Let's insert that. Before we do, we've also got a gallery page that we can use. We've got a services page that we can use as well. Cool, so let's just click insert. Oh wait, just cancel that. My bad, I hit the wrong template. So beauty salon, contact, insert, apply. Great, so everything that you need on a contact page, guys, is here. Contact us, information, address, phone. So just click inside here. You can edit all of this. So any phone number that you want, you can edit there. Address, opening hours, anything you want, all inquiries. So this is the main part of the contact area, okay? The contact form. This is how you're going to receive inquiries. Okay, now this is using the main form widget within Elementor. You know, you can go in here, you can, where is it, form, there we go, under Pro, drag a form in, and that is what you're going to be given. That is the bog standard form. Okay, but you do have the option in here to click style, and you can change your settings, your style settings, sorry. So you can change the text color in the field. We can change the background color. Currently it's white. Maybe we want that to be transparent. Maybe we want these labels to disappear, so it relies similar to this on the placeholders inside. Then we can turn labels off under content and label. Okay, maybe you want to change the color of the button because it looks bloody horrible. So in here, it's using our default accent color. Maybe we want to use the primary color. You catch my drift. You've got so many options, but if you are relying on a template, you can either keep it like this because it's in line with the style. You can edit it. If you want any of the settings, you can edit here. If you want to change the typography in the field, you can do so to match your typography. Then you can use the global settings here. Okay, so yeah, you've got quite a few options here. What does that look like? Accent. Brilliant. Right, I'm just going to delete that. Key thing here is when you're building a contact form, you need to be able to send that information to an email address. Okay, so if we edit this and go back to content, you can see that we have our form fields. Underneath we have some additional options. So we've got the likes of email. Okay, now remember with our footer, and we looked at the newsletter field, for the same widget, two different forms, same widget. So they behave in a very similar way. You give them an action. Whereas this one, the purpose of this one is to collect email addresses. The purpose of this one is perhaps to also collect email addresses, but maybe you would want to send that information to an email address and treat that as an inquiry. Maybe you have a CRM as well and you want to put that information into your CRM. I believe you can do so. So if we click actions after submit, it's going to collect the submissions, which is what we want it to do. It's going to email it to you, which we want it to do. You might want it to, MailChimp, but you might want it to collect the email address here as well. And what CRM options are there? We've got Slack, we've got Discord, you can use a pop-up. Okay, it doesn't look as if there's any CRM options here, but you could use a webhook, which would then feed into your CRM. You'd need a developer probably to help you with that. But in this instance, we're going to keep it simple. Cool. So yeah, it's going to collect the submission, it's going to email it, and it's going to send the email address to MailChimp. So then underneath, we've got collect submissions. So don't worry too much about that. Next, we've got email. So here is where you send the form submission details to. Okay, so when someone comes onto your site, sends an inquiry, they're going to send it to hello@trustandparker.co.uk. And then it's going to say new message from, I'm not sure why it puts the weird quote marks these days, but anyone knows, again, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know why they just shoehorning those quote marks in, because when it comes through on the other side, when I receive an email, it just looks terrible. So yeah, let me know, I'd love to know. So from here, form email is email@trustand, and that's got our domain in it. Okay, that's our domain name. That needs to match up. Okay, this from email needs to match your domain name. So when this changes, when we actually change our domain name, we need to make sure this is changed too. Otherwise, what happens is the email filter bots, let's call them that, will believe that your email is spam. Okay, and it just won't send. So then what we want to do is click reply to. Now, I'm not sure why, but if we go to form fields and we go to email address, I'm not sure why. Usually we can come in here and we can click reply to, and it would allow us to choose the email field. So I'm just going to click update a second, and I'm going to refresh. Let's come back down to the form field, email, reply to. Okay, so it will, the key point here, I don't know why it does this, but if you receive an inquiry from your website and it gets emailed to you, and you want to reply to that inquiry and you hit reply, the reply to currently is going to reply to yourself, all right, which is pointless. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so what you want to do is hit email address field. So what that's going to do is it's going to look at the email address that's in this form, and it's going to automatically reply when you hit the reply button. It's going to automatically populate the reply to email address to this email address. So you'll end up replying to the person that sent you the inquiry. Okay. So yeah, there's make sure that you assign that correctly. If you want to add any carbon copies or blind carbon copies, then you can do so there. Typically, we don't bother with that. If you want to add more than one email address, you can just separate them with commas. So if you wanted to add your business partner, for example, or if you had 2 email addresses you want to send the inquiries to, you can do so. Cool. All right, so that's that. That's updated. And then here we've got a Google Maps, so where to find us. So again, I'm not worrying too much about editing data. You know how to do that now, guys. You know how to edit your website content. So you just change all your text, but here we have a map. So I'm going to click that, click the pencil, and it's using the Google Maps widget. And so you just put in the location of your store, whether you have a physical location, whether you're working remotely, wherever your business is located, put it in here. What we do is, because I primarily work from home, so I don't want to put my home address on my business, so we just target the city. So we operate out of Exeter. So what we do is we would just put Exeter, for example. Okay, and it's just going to locate it there. And we can zoom in a bit if we want to. We can move over. So let's just zoom into 11. And there we go. Click update. Right, now from about, we are going to refresh our site. So we've got the home page, we've got the about page, and now we have the contact us page. All right, so we're building a site out pretty fast, guys, don't you think? I know I'm not making any changes, and you would have to go through the process of adding images and changing text. But guys, you could build your website in less than a day easily. Okay, so yeah, really, really straightforward here. And if we look at this, so I'm going to right click and go to inspect, not source, inspect. There we go, and I'm going to click on this device, and you can see how things are looking in mobile. So about, look at that, it looks nice. It looks nice. Home. Okay, it's looking really nice, guys. All right, let me just close that. Right, just because we're in it, let's have a look. I want to take a look at this header. Okay, so you can either go back to the WordPress dashboard and go back to theme builder and click header, or from here we can actually edit our header. We can click this orange tab, and that's going to take us out of the page we're editing and into the header. Now I'm curious because I don't feel confident that this header matches this theme. So let's just have a look at what other options are there. I'm going to click plus, and what we're going to do is hit folder. There we go, that's the one. That's the one we need. So I'm going to insert that one. And you can see now we've got 2 headers. The headers are sitting on top of each other. And that's a styling problem, because basically one of the headers is trying to pull the content up. So if we click on this bottom one and go to advanced, it's not doing it there. Is it doing it there? Cool. So this top one, let's remove that one. So the new one that we just added, the flare one, that has a negative margin on it of bottom 80. Okay, so that's pulling all of the content underneath up. All right, this header that we have just hidden, where is it? This one. So our original header is underneath, and if you want to check, you can use your navigator and you can hide one. So that's hiding the new one, so which means that our old one is this one at the bottom. We can, within our navigator, right click, go delete. Okay, and then we bring that back on, and there we go. Cool. So let's just hit update. There we go. Now let's revisit our website. Wicked. There we go. So we're on our home page. We can visit about, we can visit book now. That currently doesn't go anywhere, but you can have that go to your contact page, or we can create a pop-up. So if you're interested on how to create a pop-up, let's quickly try and do that now. So I'm going to go back to dashboard. I'm going to go back to templates and pop-ups. Not theme builder this time, we're going to go to pop-ups. So there are no pop-ups, so we're going to add a new pop-up. Let's just remind ourselves, so book now, so we kind of want like a booking form. Book now. And I'm going to search for beauty salon. Cool, there's a 20% off pop-up. Yeah, let's just insert that. Cool. So as you can see, this is a promo. So with the pop-up, there's a couple of options here. We can have a pop-up appear if we like. We could hit book now. We could have the pop-up appear, and there could be a book now form. Okay, making it really easy and convenient to book on any page, and it won't pull the user away from their journey or distract them or anything like that. Or you can have a pop-up like this, which is a promotional offer that will pop up on the page. Maybe the visitor's been there for like 10 seconds. So let me show you how to do that first, because I think you'll find that really useful. So in here, we want to go down to, no, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so what we want to do is hit the arrow, and we want to hit triggers. Okay, let's hit triggers. Now we have a bunch of different trigger options here. We can do it on page load, we can do it on scroll, we can do it on scroll of a specific element, on click, after inactivity, or on page exit or intent. Okay, so we could do on page load, and then within 5 seconds. Okay, so let's just save and close that, and let's just see what this does. So I'm going to refresh. Let's just wait. Nothing. How bizarre. Let me refresh. Triggers. Let's turn that one off. Let's have a look at on page exit. All right, so let's save and close. So now when we go to exit the page, I want the pop-up to appear. Why is this not working? All right, maybe we haven't got a condition. Okay, we want it to display it on every page of the site. Save and close. Right, guys, now let's try that again. There we go. Now when we exit, the offer's coming in. So like, don't go. We have a special offer. Cool. Right, now let's tweak the trigger, and we want it to appear within 5 seconds. Now let's try that one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Boom, within 5 seconds. Cool. All right. Now getting back to the original point, you now know how to use pop-ups and the various ways that you can use pop-ups. What we want to do now is we want to just add a simple form in here. But actually what I want to do is I want to, for the sake of styling, okay, what I want to do is visit contact, okay, and I want to take this form. All right, so we're going to edit this with Elementor. Okay, we're going to click this form, and we're going to right click, and what we're going to do is click copy. Okay, we can copy elements from one page to another, which is really, really cool. Now from here, what we want to do is delete, paste. Brilliant, that's our form in there, delete that. All right, I want to change this, I want to cut it down a little bit, so delete that, delete subject, full name, phone number, so I'm just going to go full name and email address. Okay, now that will do. I'm going to change our triggers, make sure triggers are off, conditions, every page, advanced rules, ignore those, and then just save. So we've saved our pop-up. Now we want this to appear when this button, book now, is clicked. Okay, so we need to go back and edit our header again. Okay, that gives us access to our header. We're going to click this book now button. And the great thing with Elementor Pro, it gives us sort of like dynamic content abilities, and it gives us the option to build pop-ups and add triggers on specific buttons. Okay, so from here we're going to click link options, dynamic tags, and we're going to click pop-up under the actions section. And in here we're going to click pop-up again, open pop-up, and we're going to choose the pop-up that we want, which I think we call book now. There we go. Brilliant. And then we're going to update that. Cool. So let's go back to our website. So we're just going to delete that. Head back here, click book now. Refresh. There we go. Now that appears like so. We can close that. We can visit our site at any point. We can click book now and bam, that form's come back up. Okay, so really nice little tip for you there. Really nice bit of custom functionality for your site. All right, so I think I'm going to leave it there. That in essence gives you a pretty clear idea of how you can go and build your site. And guys, this is just one of the template kits that are available. This is obviously very focused on hair and beauty. So if you are looking to build a beauty website, congrats, like you have a very stunning one here, and you can just make some small tweaks and you're going to end up with a very nice looking website. So cool, that's the website. That's the website done. So let's go back to Elementor. Okay. Now, when you are in a position that your site is done and you're ready, you've tested it, you've made sure all the links are working, you made sure all the responsiveness works correctly. Okay, you want to put it live. Now, so first things first, you need to right click and you need to unlock the site. Okay, so it's going to send you here. You want to turn it off. I want to unlock the site. So we're ready to go live. Okay, so now the site is unlocked. So we can use this. We can use this URL. We can put it in here like so. Oh, my bad. It's copied the SSL there as well. Copy that. Put that in there. And there's our site. But we don't want our URL to be like that. Now this is great if you are building a website and you want to get someone's opinion before you've added the domain. You have a live URL that you can use. It's a custom temporary URL that you can use to share the website link with someone. Right, but I wouldn't recommend you going live with that link. Okay, do not leave your link like that because it's just going to look terrible. So if you do want a domain name, you would go to the likes of say 123reg, and as I said earlier, this is what I recommend. I really like them as a company. They're British based, so if you are British and you're watching this, definitely recommend those. And you just search for your domain. So Justin's portfolio. I don't even know if it's going to be available. It is amazing. You can just add it to basket. You buy your domain. Okay, that's your domain name bought. So it'll be your business name. Typically, like if you're Joe's Burgers, you'd put like Joe's Burgers in. That is definitely not going to be available. Let's have a look. No, it's available. Amazing. All right. Well, if you're Joe's Burgers, you can get that domain. But yeah, purchase your domain, and then from your Elementor area, you would just click connect my domain. So your domain needs to point to this website. Copy the A record and Cname below. All right. Now the A record and the Cname are DNS settings. Okay. I'm just going to log into 123reg and show you what this means. Okay, so I'm logged into my control panel for 123reg. Once you've bought your domain using this, I mean, by all means, use any other provider. It's all going to be very much the same. You're going to end up with a control panel, and you can access the DNS settings to your domain name. So from here, you would go down to domain names, choose a domain. So let's go with justinparker.agency, manage. Cool, and then you just go to manage DNS. Okay, now this is telling me that it's pointing to another name server. Yours won't do that when you've just purchased it. Don't worry about that. And you go to the advanced DNS tab, and you can see here we've got an A record, we've got MX records, and we've got a text record. So you need to make sure that the A records here are pointing to this record. So that the Elementor's cloud hosting's IP address, you need to make sure that the A record is posting there. And then you need to add a Cname record. So you can just copy that. What you do is you just come in here, choose your type, Cname, paste that in there like so. Leave that blank, or you can add an @ symbol. Okay, and click add. Okay, we'll leave that blank. Or not. It doesn't give us a option below, and then go to it. So let's put that in there. Click add. Cool. And that's that. And then you just click next. Okay, what's the domain name? We'll find it and connect it. Okay, so if we just say Tristan.Parker, so TristanParker.agency. This, guys, this isn't going to work because I haven't put my settings in correctly, but I'm just showing you the process that you would take. So if, for example, you used joesburgers.co.uk, you know, the domain name that you bought, you click connect my domain, see what it does. It won't find it. All right, we're claiming to find it, but basically what they're going to do is they're going to do the work for you. So it's that simple, right? It's done. Joe's Burgers is apparently connecting, but I'm just going to delete those. But that's the process of adding your domain. It's so simple. It is so simple. So yes, I consent to removing the domain. So let's just delete those because we don't need them. Cool. That's it in a nutshell. That is how you actually go about building your own website. You've seen this raw. It's been step by step. It's really easy. So this video is less than 2 hours long, guys. You've been able to, you know, set up your cloud hosting environment. You've been able to buy a domain name. You've been able to assign that domain name to your website. You've been able to understand WordPress a lot more and how that is structured as a content management system. You know how to use Elementor. You know how to play around with some of the widgets. You know how to change the styles. You know how to change the site's global settings. You know how to add template kits. Use the theme builder within Elementor so you can build your own header, you build your own inner page content, you can build your own footer. Now guys, this is honestly just scratching the surface of what Elementor is capable of. Like, this has been kept pretty basic for anyone to come in and build their own website as a beginner or someone that's just getting used to WordPress or Elementor. You know, maybe they're a designer or you're a designer that's looking to build websites for yourself or for your clients, and you don't know how to code. You can use Elementor and you can now use the cloud environment. Now you have experience with the cloud environment, you can either take it upon yourselves to use it, you can recommend it to your clients. If you are going to use it, there's a link down below in the description. It is an affiliate link. So if you want to just pay your respects and say thanks, then please do hit that link because I'll get a small kickback and I'd be so grateful. So yeah, that's today's training. I hope you found it useful. It's been quite a long one. I do appreciate you sticking around and thank you so much for just watching. Now, if you did like it, please do give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Also, let me know down in the comments how you're getting on. Drop me a link to your website. I'd love to see it, to be honest. I love seeing other people's work. And hit the subscribe button. Please do hit that subscribe button as well. I'd really appreciate that. The follower count is increasing and I'd love to just continue that increasing as well. So again, thank you so much and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.